Hello and welcome back. Hope everybody's doing well. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the most notorious scandals in automotive history. Rife with controversy surrounding one of the most iconic cars in the industry. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, this is...
I've got a pint of blood for every pound that the British have in it, so I don't know. I think we're all about even there.
It's 1981. John Delorean, the then up-and-coming automotive engineer and executive, launches the Delorean Motor Company in Northern Ireland. And with the help in the form of financial aid, backers and the British government allocated $120 million in taxpayer dollars to cover the startup cost and begin production of the DMC-12, which was most prominently featured in the blockbuster movie franchise Back to the Future.
Well, it's a DeLorean, right?
But that wouldn't come till much later. For now, DeLorean saw this as an opportunity to capitalize on the lack of luxury sports cars in America while fulfilling a lifelong dream of building his own cars and factory. Not to mention the intended economic boost to the Northern Ireland industry, as these sleek, unpainted, metallic-bodied cars were to be manufactured right here in Belfast. 6 months have passed. Production is well underway, due in part by DeLorean rapidly expanding his workforce, reaching a targeted total of 2,000 employees. Meanwhile, a surplus of cars begins to fill up the dispatch area of the factory, promptly ready for transport to dealers in America. Some are hesitant, labeling it a massive multi-million-pound gamble, but DeLorean, he's ready to take him and his company to the next level.
Everybody doesn't agree with
It's now 1982. And unfortunately, the American market DeLorean desperately wanted to fill seemed uninterested. Its $25,000 price tag seemed unreasonable compared to other similar models at the time, along with the quality of the cars often being below standard, due to the inexperienced workers hired during the rushed expansion phase. The sales confidence for the car was at an all-time low, and the numbers proved it. This created some controversy around the money spent by the American directors of DMC, especially DeLorean, as he maintained expensive real estate in the US, while it seemed his company slowly crumbled in on itself. It's the end of January 1982, and the outlook on DeLorean's dream was grim. The workforce has grown to over 2,600, ballooning labor costs and putting more stress on an already failing system. To add insult to injury, out of the 7,400 cars shipped to America, fewer than half have been sold. Amidst it all, political tensions continue to grow in Northern Ireland. Hunger strikes break out in the streets, resulting in rioting and damages done to several properties, including the offices of Delorean Motor Company in Belfast. Being the opportunist he was, DeLorean used this incident to justify asking the British government for more money to invest in his failing company. But after an analysis of DeLorean's finances, it was deemed no more public money be invested in DMC. Shortly after, the company was placed in receivership, cutting the workforce in half. And just 18 months after production had begun, the last shipment of cars left the factory floor and production was halted. If you guys are enjoying the video, hit that like button, consider subscribing, and let's get back to it. With the dream shattered and the company failing, questions began to be raised once again about the invested £120 million of British taxpayer money. After a lengthy investigation done by the Committee of Public Accounts, it was found that the DeLorean project was one of the most shocking misappropriation of funds in years. Several criminal investigations began popping up, and it was only a matter of time before he found himself in court. Facing multiple charges, including misappropriation of funds, DeLorean managed to maintain his unimpeached character, remaining innocent until proven guilty. However, In October 1982, DeLorean was arrested on charges of cocaine trafficking by the FBI. It came as a shocking accusation that rocked the automotive industry and the public as a whole. The trial lasted for months and was widely covered by the media. The prosecution presented a compelling case against DeLorean, including recorded conversations, secretly videotaped meetings, and testimony from informants. But not everything was as it seemed. You see, around the time DeLorean's company was failing, he was approached by an investor named James Hoffman. He claimed to have a business opportunity to help save DeLorean's sinking company. It sounded enticing, but immediately suspicious. It wasn't until DeLorean attended a lengthy meeting with Hoffman he began to see the writing on the wall. Hoffman spoke in great detail about Colombian investors who would supply $30 million in exchange for a $1.8 million investment. Realizing he may have made an unwise business decision, he immediately gets in contact with a lawyer, but never followed through, as Hoffman threatened DeLorean's daughter would be murdered if he backed out of the deal. As a result, DeLorean continued to communicate with Hoffman. It all comes to a head when DeLorean is scheduled to meet up with Hoffman at a Los Angeles hotel. Upon arrival, he's greeted by Hoffman and an undercover FBI agent posing as a drug smuggler. The agent then produces a suitcase full of narcotics, and the following footage was recorded.
Between this and the other, it'll generate the other gold. Gold weighs more than that, or what?
The government accused him of attempting to raise funds for his struggling car company by selling $24 million worth of cocaine. However, DeLorean's defense team argued the government had entrapped him, using a shady informant and illegal tactics to frame him. They petitioned that DeLorean had never intended to sell drugs, and merely was just trying to keep his company afloat. After 29 hours of deliberation, the jury found DeLorean not guilty on all 8 charges, citing entrapment by the government. DeLorean was a free man, but his reputation and his company had suffered a severe blow. Despite the trial, DeLorean's legacy lives on. His innovative designs and contributions to the automotive industry have cemented his place in history. The DeLorean DMC 12 remains an iconic car, and his story continues to fascinate and inspire people to this day. Appreciate you guys watching to the end. If you're interested in the topic I discussed today, I'll leave links in the description to videos that helped me create this one. But if you liked this video, consider hitting the like button and subscribing. But with that, have a good one, guys.